Hey guys, it's Awahima and welcome to Morning Tea, where we sit in our sleepwear and discuss current events. Melanated, dee 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 dee. Today's tea is iced fairy nectar tea from the Mountain Witch Tea Company. We have a busy list today, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so not to add another terrorist group to your list of terrorist groups. There's another group called Al-Shabaab or Al-Shabaab. They are a terrorist group that resides in Kenya. Ambushed a bus that was on its way to Mandera, which is really close to the Somalia and Ethiopia border in Kenya. And demanded that all of the Christians get off the bus and the Muslims get off the bus and that they separate. And how they were going to test it out, which is what they are known to do, is to ask everyone to recite something from the Quran, and if you can't, then you are shot. But that did not happen on this bus. Apparently there were a lot of women on the bus. It was more than 100 people on this bus. And Muslim women that were on the bus actually gave out their hijabs to Christian women or women who didn't have any on, and hid them behind bags and basically said, we're not getting off this bus. We're not separating. If you're going to kill the Christians, then you're just going to kill all of us. And so it was a great, poo-poo in the face of these Muslim extremists who want to eradicate Christians from different countries around the world. And I want to say bravo to the brave women who stood up and did this, because I know it's hard to do that, especially when there's gunmen pointing a gun at you and they say, you know, we're not going to kill you, we're going to kill that person. And for you to step forward, being a woman, being a mother, being a sister, being whoever, and getting in front of the gun for that person is a really big deal. So bravo to those women, those brave Muslim women in Kenya who stood up for their brethren. And the idea that Kenya isn't about being Muslim or Christian, it's about being Kenyan. And if you want to be Muslim or Christian, that's your choice, but we're all Kenyans, and showing solidarity and support. So that was actually a really great thing. And it's just so terrible. And apparently during this time of the year is a big time for terrorist group, or specifically this terrorist group, to go after people traveling on the bus, because people are traveling for the holidays. So they're going to different places. They're going to Ethiopia, Somalia, where they may have family, or they're just doing a lot of traveling. So a lot of ambushing of buses happens. And usually these buses have police support, but this particular bus didn't have their police escort, because their police escort their car broke down, and so the bus just continued because they had somewhere to go and they weren't going to wait, and they ended up getting ambushed. And it was a good turnout, and now the Kenyan authorities are in pursuit of these terrorists. So scary thing to happen, but really brave, great outcome. So R. Kelly is in the news again because he's really trying to get people to buy this album, and people, I guess, aren't buying his album. So he's trying to do anything. And apparently, for some reason, him and his people thought it would be a good idea for him to do a Huffington Post interview where they answered questions from live Twitter. And you know, live Twitter, especially Black Twitter, they will come for that ass. And they did. I think somebody asked him a question about him, liking young girls, and he got upset and walked off in the middle of the live interview. I don't know why they open him up to that kind of scrutiny. Whenever they open him up to the public, persons are always going to ask about his desire for teenage girls, and which rightfully so. I feel I know he won't ever, but I would like just to see, I think I would like R. Kelly more if he would just come out and be like, I'm attracted to 15-year-olds. That is my thing. I know it's wrong. I know that I shouldn't. I just want him to come out and admit it. But he won't. And so they're going to just drag him for it. And there's nothing he could do about it. Nobody's going to buy his album. If you're not 45 or older, you're not buying an R. Kelly album. That's just my opinion. Maybe you are. Okay. So Steve Harvey, he was the host for the Miss Universe contest, and he messed up. He named the wrong person as the Miss Universe. He named Miss Colombia, who happened to be the runner-up, the first runner-up, instead of Miss Philippines. So, I mean, it was a crazy faux pas, but apparently Twitter, everybody went crazy, angry at him, and fans were mad and stuff. And I guess it's because I'm not a fan of the Miss Universe contest or Miss America or any of these like pageants, like I'm not a fan of them. I don't care. And I don't understand like their place in the world. Like I don't understand what makes them awesome. So I'm a little bit like, okay, he messed up. Like, okay. I mean, I guess it's the same thing as being like messing up, announcing the wrong person won an Oscar. But even then it would still be like, oh, you messed up. Okay. Like, I know Miss Columbia was sad, but she's still first runner up. Like, I don't know. I don't understand pageant world, so let me not go into that. But I forgive him, like, you know, and he came out and apologized. He acted like he was mad. It seemed like there was like a snap that he was mad at the people behind saying the teleprompter was wrong. But he came out on stage and acknowledged it on his card. And the card was confusing when I saw the card. I was like, oh, that is kind of confusing. You know, it says Miss Universe, whatever down here at the bottom, and then in small Philippines, but the Miss Universe is large, so it makes it seem like that's just the title of the card. And then it has first runner up, second runner up right here. So I get why he got confused, but I mean, for them to drag him like that in the media, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, he made such a mistake. I'm like, he wasn't announcing who was president of the United States. Like, that's like a crazy mistake. Like, he was announcing who was Miss Universe. Like, okay. That's just me though. Okay, so in the case of Sandra Bland, the police officers who were around and or could have been involved in her death, there was going to be no indictment for them, or there's going to be no trial. A grand jury found that there was no evidence to prove that there was any mishandling or that she didn't kill herself. And so it's like there's a lot of unanswered questions. However, it seems like it's a huge cover up. So I really hope the family isn't giving up for sure. But I really hope that they are going to force the Texas, this police department to open up, because it's so shady what's happening. They haven't decided if they're going to go after the state trooper who pulled her over. So I hope they do. I hope something happens, because this Sandra Bland case is like the mystery of all mysteries, and it needs to be solved because it's very disheartening and like sad that this happened to this woman. So if I get any more information on that, I will keep you guys abreast of the Sandra Bland issue. So in Baltimore, I forgot to talk about this last week, but last week in Baltimore, William G. Porter, who was one of the police officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray was arrested. On the way to the police station, he suffered a spinal injury which caused his death. And I believe it was 4 officers involved. It could have been 5, I'm not be sure. I think maybe the 5th was the driver or the 4th was the driver. And so one of the officers, William Porter, was had a trial, and his trial ended in a mistrial because the jury was hung. Like, the jury could not come to a consensus as to what they thought the verdict should be, whether or not he had any involvement in the death of Freddie Gray. I mean, they all had something to do with that. Like, a man doesn't have his spine snapped and have people not be involved, right? The people who were in the truck with him, right? I mean, come on. They don't know if he's gonna get another trial, Mr. Porter, or if prosecutors are gonna offer him a plea and get him to get some information on the other officers, what he can say about the other officers in the time in the truck on the way to the precinct. So I don't know. There was all this last week. I remember reading something saying that like all of the black jurors voted him guilty and the white jurors voted him not guilty, or like that was the debate. But I don't know how they got all that insider information, because they're trying to keep the identity of the jury secret for obvious reasons. So I don't know how they would have any of that information. So I don't know. I don't know about Baltimore. We'll see what's happening. We'll see what unfolds as this information continues. So next I have Vegas. So apparently in Vegas, this woman, 24-year-old woman, had her 3-year-old daughter in the car, and she was driving down the strip, and she ended up driving onto the sidewalk 3 different times, mowing people over, and actually killed somebody. And then drove about a mile outside of her last mowing of people and stopped at a hotel and called security and told them that she needed to call the police on herself because she had driven on the sidewalk and ran over several people. So one person died, but a lot of people are injured, and there's just no rhyme or reason. There's no reason that she said she did it. See what happened. I don't know if she was stressed out or, you know, she was just frustrated. I'm not sure. So as that unfolds, I'll give you guys more information on that. But that's weird. Last thing on my list today is DeMarcus Cousins, who is an NBA player. And he gave a car to a family recently, and he also took a bunch of kids Christmas shopping. So he's been giving a lot back to the community of Sacramento, just because he's like, you know, I had a tough time growing up and we didn't have much, and I feel like, you know, he feels like what he's doing it's great. I mean, it's charitable. I mean, it's helping people, especially that family that he gave a car. They needed it to get to work, so that's a really, really great thing. And full disclosure, when I saw the name DeMarcus Cousins, I was like, what? Who is DeMarcus and his cousins? Like, what is happening? So I finally clicked on it and I was like, oh my God, this is a great thing to end morning tea with. So that's really nice. I love it when basketball players and people in general who have money do things for their fans, for the public, for people in need. It makes me just feel good because they get paid so much money to run up and down a court, and it makes me, and there are people who are fans for them and who like champion for them, who have nothing. And for them to give back is like really, really just kind of warms my heart. It warms my heart. It really does. And I'm actually happy that there are basketball players. There's quite a few basketball players, football players, all the athletes that do that kind of work. And it just makes me happy for them. And it has to give them some kind of fulfillment too. So that's really nice, especially during the holidays. You know, it's a tough time for a lot of families, and it's really, really a really nice thing. Okay, so that's it for morning tea. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. If you would like to join the conversation, please do. And that is it, you guys. Have a fantastic, fantastic Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. I hope you had a great Hanukkah if you celebrate Hanukkah. And, you know, this is a really fun time of the year, and I hope you guys are enjoying it as much as you can. Okay? Be well. Bye, guys.